Hello and welcome to Midnight Scribe's Creative Vibes, where we speak to the best of the bronies and discover what makes them tick. And today, everyone, it is our Bronycon special! Hey! We actually made it back from America, which is incredibly surprising because we almost never made it there in the first place. Oh, it was quite a trip, but I tell you what, we made it to Bronycon as well, we had a great time, and to talk about all the fun, cool stuff and anecdotes we have from the convention, we've got two people on the show today. First one is, well, he's a guest from our previous season, and is a lovely creator, works with Creative Vibes, works with a lot of other various creators, lovely guy. I want you to give a nice big Creative Vibes welcome to Rocky Harmony.
Hello, thanks for having me, again.
I know, it's nice to have you back on, considering that the last episode I had you on, or actually the first episode I had you on, you took 3 episodes worth of material in one go.
Well, it was worth it, right?
It was a brilliant episode, and Dark Horse, if you're watching this, hey listen, love you to bits, it was great meeting you at Bronycon. And our second guest, well, he is one of my closest friends. He is also a volunteer at Bronycon and is also a big dragon boy as well. We know him as Risky, but we also know him as Chris. Chris, how are you doing?
I am doing very well, Midnight. How about yourself?
Well, I'm doing about as well as I usually do, which is not that great considering that intro. But no, we are here to talk about Bronycon, about the last Bronycon that ever actually happened. It's a shame to see it go, but before we actually get on to Bronycon officially, I want to take a little sidetrack journey, because Chris and I actually went to America, not just for Bronycon. I know, shock, horror, there's actually other things in America at that point, apart from Bronycon. We went, oh yes, we went to Washington, D.C. for the culture!
Yeah. Apparently America has culture. Who would have thunk it?
Yeah, I know.
Great, we've got a Scottish person and an American here agreeing that America doesn't have much culture. I am staying completely neutral on this because as host I must. Yeah, I mean, what can we say about this holiday? Like, you know, why were we going there, Chris? What was our reasoning? I mean, was it for the, you know, intricate history of this great capital? Was it the fantastic weather that was there, or the, you know, the great sights and scenes that we could see?
Okay, no, so for everybody watching, here's kind of the setup. So after Bronycon last year, I had said to Midnight and his other half, Infinite Affection, would you like to go to DC for the Fallout Bants and the Fallout memes? And then a little while later, they had got back to me and said very seriously, hey Chris, would you like to go to DC for the Fallout Bants and the Fallout memes? And we all just kind of agreed to it, and we went, and yeah, we did what we set out to do.
Yeah, I mean, we actually hit a lot of the places and historical sites that are obviously in Fallout 3, and yeah, we were there outside the White House singing I Don't Want to Set the World on Fire.
That's impressive. I like that.
Actually, we didn't just sing one song from the Fallout 3 soundtrack. We sung quite a few as we ventured around DC, just to hammer home how much of a bunch of filthy meme lords we are.
I missed out.
I know you missed out on that side, Kieran. I know it was meme filled, but it was so much fun. I mean, you know, obviously we're you know, saying this in jest. We did go to Washington DC because of the Fallout 3 memes, but we did get a chance to take in some of the great history and culture of the American capital, and it was fantastic being able to go around all the various sites. You know, Lincoln Memorial, the Mall, Washington Monument, Museum of what is it? It's Air and Space.
Yeah, the Air and Space. Yeah,
Air and Space.
It really is something magical about going to go see your country's capital.
There is something.
Pretty fascinating.
There is something to it. Although what I will say is that there is a very big difference between as an American or as a Scottish guy going to Washington DC versus an American or a Scottish guy going to Edinburgh. Like, I'm not saying that is not a diss on Edinburgh, by the way, for any of our Scottish fans. I like Edinburgh. Edinburgh's a lovely city. It's beautiful, got lots of great sights, but it's not. These two cities are not comparable.
Yeah, there is a massive divide in quality between the two. And not only that, but DC is incredibly packed with history. I mean, and we even said this to each other at midnight, that when we were standing next to the Lincoln Memorial, that was imposing. You felt tiny next to the Lincoln Memorial. You really did.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there was certainly the one point that I think it was you that brought up, Chris, although it might have been Infinite, I'll have to remind myself, but it was basically, we were talking about how, you know, going around all these famous, you know, monuments and statues and relics of American history and what they stand for, there's an element of respect for them and ideology that you don't necessarily get in UK, which is, you know, almost the complete opposite in a lot of regards.
Oh yeah, absolutely. This is something that I think that we all discussed, is that DC is incredibly clean. There wasn't a lick of graffiti from what I saw. There actually seems to be, at least in the area that surrounds the museums and the monuments and such, not a lick of graffiti. So there does seem to be this unanimous respect towards these areas. Whereas, you know, back here, on our statues, we put traffic cones.
That is true. We do that. That is very much a Scottish tradition, which should give you an idea of how we operate as a culture.
Yeah, something to look forward to, Rocky. We disrespect our culture, but in the funniest way.
I look forward to it. Well, actually, speaking of which, this is, I guess, time to say that I'll actually be in Scotland for Bronycon.
Yes, I know, Bronycon, which is happening November 10th and 11th this year. Get your tickets at brony.scot. Plug!
Shameless plug.
Shameless plug, major plug. But yeah, so yes. But that was obviously an aspect of what Washington DC was like, and it was absolutely fantastic being able to explore there as well with yourself and with Infinite. But of course, we do have to bring this round to the most important part, sort of the whole trip for us. Certainly the important part of this episode, which is LineCon. I mean,
LineCon is where it's at.
Oh, LineCon was ridiculously popular this year. Like, I'm gutted that I got really the short end of the stick there, because full disclosure, my partner bought the tickets for us for Bronycon. He got himself, like, the special deluxe, like, uber nice package ticket. I got bog standard, I'm just buying you the basic ticket because you're a basic man ticket. And we ended up...
enough, you went through the line faster than he did, and he had the priority line.
That was the best part, because he was going on about how, oh, you know, I've got the priority line, I will be done so much faster than you in your long queue. And he was still in the queue 20 minutes later, waiting for his stuff, while I was there with my ticket dancing around going, I've got my ticket, I've got my lanyard. Sucks to be you.
Yeah, of course, that was on day 1 of Bronycon. Day 0, the line for that was insane.
Day 0 is where it's at.
Well, you say that... Well, you see, day 0, I never actually got my ticket on day 0. I got on day 1. I was smart enough to realise, oh, wait a second. They've given an extra day to get tickets. That's not going to go well. But yeah, it was like, what was it, 25% of people tried to go?
I think so. There was a lot of people. What happened was that myself and Rocky had went to try and find Lightning Bliss, and we had bumped into them as they were going to get their own badges and such. And the line wrapped around the half of the convention center that they were using, near enough halfway around.
Yeah, we went around outside the building.
Yeah, and the thing is though, is that when it was outside, it was going into the building particularly fast. Once it got into the building,
our hopes were going up, but then they were dashed.
But then our hopes and dreams were thrown against the shores of the amount of people that were in front of us. It felt as if there was about four or five parts of LineCon if you were getting your lanyard. Outside the building, in the foyer, in the
then
and
just
then
the
as you're
line
in
to
the bigger queue, and then the smaller queue. So there's about four separate parts of LineCon, 4 separate lines near enough.
Yeah, the lines were absolutely amazing. So I tell you what, if you were there for LineCon 2019, I salute you. I'm glad you made it. You're one of the 10,215 people, I believe, who actually made it to LineCon this year.
Yes, there is a lot of people at this convention. And the thing is, though, is that I'm wondering to myself, as someone who attends MCM Scotland, if there was even that many people at that convention.
It does give you it does make you think in terms of like, right, all these other conventions that we go to, whether they're pony ones or not, what is their actual attendance? How does that actually compare to Bronycon, and in terms of how it was handled, how the lines were, all the rest, kind of getting that kind of sense of scale, I suppose?
Yeah.
And there's definitely a lot more this year since this is the last one.
Yeah, no, the attendance near enough doubled from last year, and I think this was their highest attendance. I'm not sure because back in 2015 they had roughly about the same. So I think I did see somewhere that yes, the attendance for this year beat their highest previous, which was 2015. So the final Bronycon was also the biggest one.
Oh yeah, the total number of people was 10,215.
Yes.
Yeah, which was around about 150 odd, I think, more than they had in their previous record. So yeah, it was tight, it was close, but the thing is, it went out on the highest figures, no question of it. And yeah, the scale of the convention, having the extra day, obviously changed the whole dynamic a fair bit, and the fact that it was the final convention meant that there was certainly a sense of wanting to go out of a bang for the convention itself, in terms of the amount of guests that they had and the events they were putting on. In terms of being there as a con goer, there was certainly a sense of wanting to take advantage of trying to catch people that there was, particularly for perhaps Chris and myself, not being Americans, and having to hop over the pond, trying to catch people that we might not necessarily have a chance to really catch anytime soon.
Oh yeah, that was absolutely the case for me. I believe day 0 and day 1 I bumped into Keyframe and No Whacking. So those were 2 people that I was hoping to see anyway, that I got to see pretty much without trying. So I was glad of that, and then as the weekend progressed I got to see more and more people.
Yeah, it was really nice. Oh, Speaking of day 0, we actually did another activity before the convention itself started. We went to do an escape room.
No, that was day 1.
Was that day 1?
That was day 1.
That was on the Thursday, because there was not really much particularly happening on the Thursday. There was sparse amounts of activities going on.
That's right, I forgot.
Within the convention centre. But then opening ceremonies didn't happen until 6 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
For some odd reason, they decided, we're going to leave it until much later in the day to have opening ceremonies. I'll probably get to it later, but there were some parts of the planning for the convention that kind of threw me off. That was one of them, and I'll kind of get to the others later on if we get to that.
Well, I tell you what, can I throw up something that I learned about in the last week or so regarding the convention and regarding actually that particular topic? Because I find it quite amusing, there is a serious discussion to be had on this, but this isn't the point. But this is just something I find quite amusing. Is obviously the lines were a big factor and the queues, and obviously Bronycon were constantly going like, don't turn up until an hour before your event, and then people were tweeting back going, well, we kind of have to if we want to actually get in, and all back and forth. But basically, it turns out that the reason why there weren't, or one reason, for example, why there weren't as many Bronycon volunteers actually trying to sort out the queues and trying to mitigate that sort of side of things, is that apparently they were trying to investigate and crack down on an NSFW selling ring outside of the convention.
Oh wow!
Which
I didn't hear about this.
Yeah, CSI Baltimore has nothing on this. Seriously, CSI Bronycon is like, apparently there were some sellers who were outside of the convention. Like, I don't know whether it was in their hotel rooms or elsewhere. It was not on property ground. Apparently, we're trying to sell NSFW material which they couldn't sell at the convention, and apparently a volunteer or volunteers were trying to catch this for whatever reason. The details on this seem a bit dubious, but the concept itself I kind of find funny. And actually, to lead on from this topic, just to an anecdote that I've got, just because I think you might find this quite amusing, is that Infinite and I were staying with Tyndega and Maplelicious. And Tyndega, we've had him on the show before, fantastic guest. He is also on the TF2 crew and does all sorts of great, cool videos on his channel. We were all staying together in an Airbnb about 2 blocks away from the convention centre. And late at night... Yeah, I know, we were so lucky. We were in an apartment where we had to go in for the garage, which is just a whole other story. But but what happened was, late at night, about 10:30 at night, Infinite wants to go get some food from the Subway, which is 1 block around the building. So literally, you go out one side, walk your way around to the other side, Subway's there. So he and Ty and Digga decide to go out and they're going to get this food at 10:30 at night. So fine, they go out. And what ends up happening is, it turns out, and we didn't know this before we got there, so FYI, this was not deliberate, but actually, the moment you go around that building and you go around to the other side, it's where the red light district and the pornography and all the sex shop stuff is. It's all there. And literally, they went there to the Subway, which was shut for the record, so they didn't even get the food. Had to walk back, but they're walking past all these strip joints and, places that have bathrooms in the back for certain activities and all that sort of thing. And they've got guys who are standing outside the strip clubs going like, "Hey guys, we got some great ladies in here. Why don't you come on in? It's nice and cheap." And it's just like, they're just like blinkers on, just going like, must not laugh, must not look. And poor Tyndega, who is apparently just like stoic as all hell, they make it to the end of the block past all sorts of stuff that would make you blush, get around to the corner, and then they just break down.
Luckily for us, Chris, we didn't get to walk through any of that. We had our own adventures.
Yeah, we only had to deal with people doing people shouting through megaphones about 8 o'clock in the morning.
Oh,
but
yeah,
for me, it was some kind of rally.
Yeah.
We could never make out what it was because we didn't care enough to make out what it was.
I just wish they stopped doing it so early in the morning.
Yeah, well, the thing is, though, is that I was usually awake by that point through a combination of, oh, I can't get to sleep, of, oh my god, Rocky's snoring is so damn loud, please stop.
I regret nothing, and I apologize.
You'll regret many things when you get here.
Can I just say, Rocky, just for the record, that because you're going to be staying with us before we go to Brony Scott, and I'd just like to let you know that there is a £10 per day tax on any snoring you do. So I suggest you get it fixed pronto, boyo, otherwise you're going to be a very, very poor pawn.
See, I'm probably not going to learn from Bronycon, so I'll bring it on.
But actually, talking about everything that happened at the convention, because we have to talk about our Scottish sister, Mad Munchkin, who at this convention ended up getting proposed to.
Yeah, that was exciting. The fact that we all got to be there to witness it, too.
Except for me, because I was like in my B&B doing literally nothing at the point.
Well, I technically couldn't see it either. I was in the very back of the room.
I was, I think I was about somewhere in the middle. So somewhere between the middle and the front. So I had a good view of it. But yeah, wow, that was something to really end everything on a high note.
Yeah, I mean, from what
Speechless here.
I know, exactly, speechless is the word. It was I was really surprised when I heard it third hand, because I ended up getting a message through basically saying that, well, actually, no, it wasn't even that. It wasn't even a message. No, that was something else. What happened was, I was in the convention hall later on that day, like maybe about half an hour after the TF2 panel, and I ran into Dark Horse KC, who's basically like all smiles and glow, and basically just kind of let slip to me, "Oh, by the way, just to let you know that something happened in the panel." And it's like, well, what happened? And then she told me about the proposal. I was like, what do you mean there was I wasn't even...
Yeah, I think that's what, the third year in a row they had a proposal at the TF2 panel?
Not that I can... No, it wasn't last year. It was the year prior that Debosinator and his now wife got engaged.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I don't think I don't think anything happened last year because, well, no, definitely not, because I was at the TF2 panel last year and nothing happened there.
There was definitely an engagement or a wedding at the convention last year, just not at that panel.
Yeah, there was a wedding, but the only other big engagement from the TF2 crowd was Josh Scorcher, and that was last year at a different convention. But I will say this, fun fact, and it's something that I've said to you two, after the panel was over, I walked up to the stage just to try and get Maddie's attention, and as soon as she locks eyes on me, she just goes right at me and latches onto me for dear life. And we just kind of shared this because the fun fact is that with everybody that I've met from this community, Maddie is the oldest friend I have had because she was the first. So, and we're quite close friends at this point. It's just kind of sharing her moment was. It was great to see. It's amazing to see her now kind of being able to move on with what she wants to do and live her dream and be who she wants to be with. And I pity the poor soul who tries to stop that from happening.
Indeed.
Because she deserves all the best in the world, and it seems that things are finally going her way.
Things are going uphill.
Yeah, I think they're going uphill for a lot of people. I hope that's the case. But for her, I'm so very happy for her, and it was a great way for all those guys to kind of bow out of this convention, to see one of their own be ready for happily ever after.
Could not have said it better myself.
Sometimes I am a particularly good wordsmith, even if I am from Glasgow, and we're not particularly known from that.
Well, hey, listen, Scottish people, we can be wordsmiths. Usually we're just drunk.
Yeah, but we can also be both at the same time.
That is true, and be warned when that happens, because you're going to be bombarded in a way that you've never been bombarded before.
I look forward to this.
And just as a final note on this particular topic, Maddie, if you happen to be watching this, we're wishing you all the best. Hope you're enjoying your stay in America at the moment with your fiancé, and we look forward to seeing you when you're back here in Scotland in the near future. Dinner is on me.
Yep, dinner's on him.
I should just point out, just for her, I'm not paying for either of you two. You two can buy your own meals, right? I'm part-time right now. I cannot afford to pay that many meals.
Hey, at least one of us is actually diligent with our money.
I was being careful.
You had $2,000! Listen.
Where are you now?
See, it is in souvenirs right now.
I'll tell you what, just to talk about something else, because I never got the opportunity to be at the after party, but I heard you two managed to make an appearance there.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
We got invited by our friend Aeon, actually.
Yes.
So that was exciting. That was actually the first after party I went to.
Yeah, same here. That was a really fun time. Got up to a bit of mischief. Had tried an alcohol that is illegal in the UK, apparently. I wanted to get in a Disney singing session, and I did thanks to DeWilsonator and Katie, his wife, along with Lightning Blessing Company. So that was good fun. We tired ourselves out thoroughly. And then Maddie showed up and requested that we all sing the Smile song, which we did. So.
Oh yeah, I recorded it too.
Yeah, so the after party was an excellent amount of fun, and I kind of wish that we didn't have to leave. But of course, the day after, everybody had to head home, so what can you do?
With our current living conditions at the time here, we had a bit of a walk anyway.
Yeah, we did.
I think we got an Uber.
Yeah, we got an Uber back.
Yeah, just because of how late it was, it would not be safe to go.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, I mean, to throw something that happened on my street corner while I was at the convention, not to end things on a dour note, but just because this did happen, on the second night that we were in Baltimore, a city famed for, being, I think, the third most crime-ridden city in America, thereabouts, something like that.
Let's hold a pony convention.
Let's hold a pony convention in this city. And here's the thing, right? 2 a.m. in the morning, I'm just beginning to doze off. I've just, I stay up late. I'm just going, right, I'm fiddling around with my phone. I'm just beginning to go to sleep. And we're in a 13-story apartment at this point, right? And I've got a perfect view of the kind of streets that are outside. We've got a great view from the balcony there. And I'm just dozing off, and gunshots start ringing out from the street below, as in the block that you can see from our apartment, the next street, and police cars are whizzing around, people running, the whole shebang. And it was just like, okay, this is going to be fun to try and sleep now. That's gunshots.
Compare who had the worst place to stay at Bronycon this year.
I think it's definitely Midnight and Company, considering that they heard literal gunshots. I don't think we can compare to that. Yeah, we didn't really have the best equipped Airbnb.
Yeah,
and there was
our original one cancelled on us the night before we were supposed to arrive.
Yeah, and there was only 2 beds. There was no cutlery. I had to eat cereal from a coffee cup. Blah blah blah. But compared to that, being near a literal gunfight, a scene straight out of Grand Theft Auto, I think that kind of takes the cake.
It was, the only thing I can say is at least we were 13 stories up, you know what I mean? If I was ground level, I would have been, I don't even know what word I would have been, just like dead, just gone, just no. But I'll tell you what though, just to bring this back round on a positive, just to round off the video, what for you guys would be your defining thought or memory of Bronycon, either of this year or in general?
Rocky, do you want to go first?
Sure. I know there's so many highlights this year. It's hard to really pin down a single one. So, for just an overall major highlight for me would be getting to see many of my old friends again, and then making some new ones. Oh, one for sure is getting a picture with my friend Spirit while she is in her fursuit, because last year I missed the chance to do that, so we had to wait an entire year just to make that photo happen. So yeah, pretty much just getting to see old friends and make some new ones. That was my highlight.
And yourself, Chris?
I think for me, it's the case of that Bronycon kind of sums up what the past few years of my life have been, because as I've told you quite a lot, Midnight, everything before this fandom for me was a bit of a dark spot in life, but since watching the show and interacting with everybody involved, I've kind of found myself with so many people to interact with. All these excuses to go travelling abroad, all the positive changes that have happened in my life seem to have resulted from this silly show. And Bronycon has just been, especially the final one, has just been the kind of apex of my time in this fandom. And even though the con wasn't perfect, it was still a great send-off for what is a fandom that, by all rights, should never have existed, but yet here we are.
And I suppose what I would add as well is that although Bronycon was in many respects an ending, and certainly there was an element of finality in terms of the convention and what it was aiming for and wanting to go out with a bang, it was a sense of, bringing a bit of energy back to the community as well, because there are so many other fantastic conventions going on, all across the world that are doing, all sorts of fantastic events in their local community around My Little Pony, and that are still alive and kicking. And, thanks to their presence at Bronycon and, in some respects, thanks to Bronycon going away, are going to get, more people going to them. More people are going to be traveling, experiencing new cultures, new parts of their own country or other countries to, get their taste of the pony fix. And, I'm really excited to see how things change over the next couple of years in terms of how the My Little Pony fandom changes around, and and what it means for our community. So I am certainly seeing this very much as a positive, and it's a shame to see Bronycon go, but I am glad to see that it did end roughly on a high. And, you know, the fact that I was able to meet so many good friends that I hadn't had the opportunity to meet in the flesh before, or haven't, you know, very rarely meeting Bright Idea again, always a delight to see her. To meet Dark Horse in the flesh for the first time, she was just an absolute delight. Like, I loved hanging out with her, and I'm certainly hoping in the future I'll get a chance to actually catch her at another convention. Fingers and toes crossed. Indeed. And hey, listen, like, just about everyone that was going to the convention was absolutely lovely. You know, it was all good. It was a great time, and, you know, I'm just to ask you a very simple question to wrap it up. Did you all have a good time at Bronycon? Yes or yes?
Yes.
Yeah.
There we go. That's a good way out. That's exactly it. Well, I tell you what, gang.
Can I actually throw in a couple of quick little bits and pieces before we finish up?
Sure, fire in.
Now, okay, so on one of the events that I went to, which was a Patreon exclusive meetup for fans of Michelle Craver and Black Griffin, as we're sitting at our table, Michelle's mum Monique passes by, and when she gets to our table, she turns to me and says, "Hey, Chris, how in the heck did you recognise me?" Because the same thing also happened with Dusty Cat, because I was at Maddie's table and I turned to go elsewhere, and Dusty catches me and says, "Hey, where do you think you're going, a-hole?" It's just, hi. So yeah, it's just the fact that you also start to build these kind of small relationships with people as well is a great thing that the con scene has done. And even though BronyCon's done, there are of course still other ones. So, anyways, come to TrotCon.
That's actually the true winners of BronyCon, TrotCon. Their marketing has been off the friggin' chain. So yeah, actually, you know what? That's what we're going to round up this episode of, because if I put this on Twitter and say, anyway, come to TrotCon, they're going to retweet it, and I know we're going to get more views. So you know what? BronyCon, you've been a great experience. You know, thank you for all the memories you've given all of us over the years. But anyway, come to TrotCon.
Also come to Brony Scott.
Also come to Brony Scott. Yes, come to Brony Scott as well. But the final... come to Brony Scott, buy your ticket. But also, to round us off on this show about BronyCon, let us all say, as one, anyway, come to TrotCon.
Come to TrotCon.
Yes.
What the heck just happened?
$500.
What?
Brony Scott.
Well, you're not amongst them, so yes, that is the request for
charity
yourself.
auction.
Yes. I mean, a few of them bear a slight resemblance to West Right. Cool.
Well done, BronyCon.
Yes, beautiful.